your mood, your music, your taste can all change with one little screw and a top plate. What my sound preferences are. I like bass. And if it can have quantity and quality, yeah, I'm rocking it. Especially mid bass. I like the slam over the sub bass rumble. I like my mids super clean. Not a big fan of overly colored, overly thick, overly warm mids. Not a big fan of that. And highs that are very sweet and seem to be able to keep up without ever being overbearing or in your face. So nobody said you were caught in a dream. Can't believe you didn't walk away. You click your fingers, flooding the plane. I really need a holiday for my vacation. When all we gotta be alone. I guess the fight is on. I'm knocking for a kiss in the empty spaces. I was told you're gonna let me know. Yeah, right now. I was told you're gonna let me go. Yeah, right now. I was told you're gonna let me know. Yeah, right now. I was told you're gonna let me go. Yeah, right now. But nobody said you were caught in a dream. I was told you're gonna let me know. Yeah, right now. I was told you're gonna let me go. Yeah, right now. I was told you're gonna let me know. Yeah, right now. I was told you're gonna let me go. Yeah, right now. But nobody said you were caught in a dream. You can also hear the depth of the singers from the microphone, and that's a really cool effect, and you don't get that on lesser IMs. You get that on top tier stuff, and that's the Ne4. I think the Ne4, in a nutshell, can change with you, for you, and for your preferences. Hello. Today I'm bringing you something unique, something fun, and something different you may not have seen before from a brand you may not have heard before. This is going to be for the NF Audio Ne4. Now, if you've seen some teasers about this, this is a modular IEM that actually is quite unique in its tuning. Some IEMs have explored tuning switches. They drive me nuts. Nozzles, that's another one. Also easy to lose. Not bad. I like that over tuning switches personally. This one is done with removable, swappable, modular top plates, which is the crossover. So, actually, I'll show you the clear one that comes. That is the top plate. As you can see, the bottom of it is there. And the receptacle on this gorgeous IM is there. Before that, let's talk about who NF Audio is. Firstly, let me just read you a little bit about NF Audio and their brand. Excuse me, while this old man focuses on his bifocals and reads this little print in a dark background. So bear with me here. Brand background. NF Audio is a headset brand that was founded in 2014. The team is made up of recording engineers, acoustic engineers, headphone production engineers, rock photographer, and designers. NF Audio's core objective is to make customized headsets. We provide the best products from different perspectives, including sound, appearance, and comfort with the most professional attitude. NF Audio is committed to building the world's leading acoustic components, from the most basic speaker development and manufacturing through new materials, new structure, new technology to provide better audio products for the growing market. Brand meeting. Near field. NF. Nice fit, nice frequency response. Art, technology, and craftsman spirit are the core values of NF Audio. An excellent headset must meet the basic requirements of good listening, good looking, and comfortable. We start from sound understanding, visual communication, product development, product manufacturing, supply chain management, and quality control. We treat each of our products with the attitude of creating artworks. Brand future. With a delicate, elegant music and artistic style, and can fully express their creativity and individuality, it has become an ideal choice for more and more consumers. In the future, NF Audio will continue to explore emerging markets and build a complete distribution system while contributing to launch more exciting new products to make the world feel the voice of China. Years of accumulation just for this moment to bloom, make the best headphones with the most exquisite technology, bringing the best products. Never have headphones been this sophisticated until you meet NF Audio. NF Audio has labeled themselves a professional audio brand, custom and universal IMs. And if you check out their website, you can see that, they definitely have a full gamut of different IMs for different uses in professional and regular consumer lines. NF Audio is a brand under the Shenzhen Ningfan Acoustics Company Limited. They were established in 2014, and you can see that their background in pro audio roots, working with thousands of musicians and bands to get to this point. I encourage you to check out their website and get to know a little bit about these things. Now, NF Audio is trying to expand into more of the world market. So you may have seen a bunch of people, reviewers, with samples out there. First of all, I gotta say this experience working with NF Audio was standout. I'll share a little bit with you about what NF Audio sent me. And I thought it was standout enough to actually share it with you. I want to read this to you, and I'm going to share this part to you. Honesty and authenticity. We encourage you to provide honest and authentic reviews without any pressure to conform to specific messaging or objectives. During the review, you can express your creativity and individual style. NF Audio, you have just, in my eyes, gained some major respect from me. Thank you so much for being such a standout company. Personally, I asked for 2 different IMs. This one really appealed to me with its neutral tuning, and the RA15, which was super cool with the Assassin's Creed kind of themed IM. And looking at the target curves, the frequency responses, I think they kind of aligned with my personal choice, with my personal preferences. And I'm glad I did so. I was looking for a replacement for my High Senior T4. This became a fantastic replacement. In fact, a much better IM for me for a neutral monitor-like resolving set. My first experience with NF Audio was, strangely, a 2BA unit called an NF2U. And it was just a simple 2BA unit, but it was quite remarkable for the tuning. And it really made me open my eyes and my mind to what was possible, not so much in driver count, but what was possible to do in a tuning with driver count or lack thereof. So if people get hung up on driver count, I think I would say to you to maybe reconsider that. Now, one of my all-time monitor-like reference is the Plunge Audio Unity from Canada. Phenomenal set, 4BA. This set is also 4 balanced armatures. Now, if we talk a little bit about the Ne4, now this comes from their Professional and Music series, and it has 4 American Knowles BA drivers inside of it. It is a 22955 for the lows, a 29689 for the mids, and a composite set of drivers in the 31736 series. The actual shell, a lot of thought and design obviously went into this little shell. Not so little, actually. We'll talk about that. It's a CNC machined aluminum and stainless steel shell. It's probably prettier if I actually show you the entire one right there. And it's extremely, well, I think the matte finish on it, for me, without using one of those little pouches to protect it, has stood up really well. There's no scratches or anything on it. I like to take care of my stuff anyway, but it was a pleasant surprise to see that this isn't a fingerprint magnet or a scratch magnet. So that was really nice. The shell itself is quite nice. It is got a bit of a weight to it, but because of the aluminum components, the CNC machined aluminum components, it's not too terribly heavy and doesn't feel like that in your ears. Fit and comfort for me are very, very good. I really do like this shell shape and the way the nozzle angle becomes in your ear. So that is FITMENT for me. Medium well isolation. If it could go a little bit deeper, and I'll explain a little bit about that. You see me using foam tips. I had to use foam tips because one of the things on this IM for me is I get driver pressure because there's no venting of the shell itself. So I needed the foam tips to relieve the air pressure inside of my ear canal. And it worked really, really well with these red foamy tips that I found. Now, because this is a modular IM in its tuning, which makes it super unique, there is some signature sound effects, some signature sound characteristics I'd like to share with you. First, it does have that quality Knowles kind of bass. So it is not dynamic driver kind of sounding, slow decay, organic kind of sound. It is more of the balanced armature kind of fast, punchier bass with faster decay. Now that actually plays quite well into my tuning preferences as well, because I like faster, speedier bass over giant sub bass. That's kind of my preference, and it plays really well to that. Super clean, capable mid-range, like fantastic. Now, the highs I'm also going to talk about. They're very nicely extended, give lots of detail, and the stage and imaging is truly stand out. There's a bit of a little bump in the top end, so if you're sensitive to certain areas, pay attention to that. Though for me and my older years, it was perfect and lovely. I quite liked it, the top end, quite a lot. I was talking about that stage. It's big, it's open, and I'll talk about that as well into this tuning. It has amazingly great stage, height, width, depth, image placement, stereo placement, where you can hear the depth of different instruments, you can hear the different height of instruments, you can tell whether you're sitting down at a little table in a jazz cafe or you're in a giant stadium. All of that was easily detectable, and that partly is to do with the tuning will come into play more or less, and just the overall quality of the driver and the components. Now, this set is not inexpensive. It is $749 US, so it's up there, but it's also competitive, like same as the Plunge Audio, it's up there as well. There's so much that goes into these sets, research, development, tooling, all of it comes into play, and this set is quite unique. Those pins there, those gold-plated 5 pins that you see that made up to the faceplate, those 5 gold-plated push pins on the actual shell itself are heavy-duty kind of military spec spring-loaded probes, and they just ooze quality. Lots of the little details of this IAM is quite stand out. Even the engraving on the shell, right? That is, I loved it. I thought that was what you'd expect in a higher-end IAM. Now let's talk about the real-world tunability of these. I'm going to pull up a graph here, and as you can see, my unit was provided with the 3 faceplates that come in a box and a 4th one as well. Now, each of these top plates has a completely different tuning. On this IM, the tuning can go from super analytical, bright, neutral, to extremely linear and balanced, to bass boosted, strong U-shaped signature. This isn't the end of the NF Audio's Ne4 expansion. There's other stuff in the works as well, and I'll talk about that as well. This type of tuning, for me, is not a gimmick. It's actually real-world usability to change the actual sound characteristic of this IM. And stuff coming out from and for this IM in the future really quite excites me. For me, I sent them my target curve and I said, hey, is it possible to make a curve like this? And the feedback from NF Audio was fantastic. So back to this NF Audio review. Couple of the things that I really liked was, well, if I talk about the sound, okay, I fell in love with the reference tuning. So and this is, I'm not going to get too deep into the sound because it can change so much with different faceplates. So I could spend hours talking about how each one of these sounded, but I'm going to really just focus on the reference faceplate, which is kind of, they call it black, I call it a dark gray. It is, for me, balanced, neutral reference. What that means is if I choose a different cable, if I choose different tips, if I choose different source, all of that, actually, this IM is so transparent that it picks up everything. It picks up your track, it picks up your source, it can change its tonality and tonal character by changing ear tips. And sources play a huge part into this as well. So it will certainly pick up. It's so transparent that picking up a warm source, yeah, it becomes warm. Picking up a neutral source or a bright source, again, it's going to take on those kind of characteristics of your source more than your typical IAM. In the reference tuning, because it is so uncolored itself, it is going to be colored by all those other aspects that I just mentioned. And that's what I love about this IM, as it is now my neutral reference reset set. So between different IMs, I'm going to use the Ne4 as my reference to reset my sensibilities, as Bennett Kelly would like to say from the Canucks Audioholics. So, and that's important because you're listening to one set and it has a tonal character or sound signature, and you throw another one right in your ears and your brain is still back on that old set. Well, this one's going to help me reset back to neutrality. Nothing boosted, nothing exaggerated, nothing added, nothing artificially created, nothing colored. And that's what the Ne4 in reference tuning is going to do for me. To talk about those two kind of tunings, the reference tuning for me, I think that's the all-rounder. It's a very monitor-like tuning. Input equals output. Without colorization, it follows the source. Nothing boosted, nothing added or missing. The mids come out very clean and all sound very natural and nicely weighted. The big open stage follows the recording. So, and by that, if you haven't had an IM or have an IM that does this, if you're listening to one track and it's in a stadium, it really projects that sense of space. And you can hear in the Ne4, in some songs, a lot of songs, you can hear the different mics that are used for the singers. You can hear and because it's that resolving and that detailed, you can also hear the depth of the singers from the microphone, and that's a really cool effect, and you don't get that on lesser IMs. You get that on top tier stuff, and that's the Ne4. You also get the ability to get different depths, different heights, and image placement. So you can hear that the piano is in the back, and you can hear that the trumpet is on the left and forward to you, and that you're sitting down listening to it versus you're standing up, and right? And that's how revealing the Ne4 is for me, especially on the reference tuning. If we switched over and the pop, it's like you've just bought a completely different IM. Definitely warmer, bigger bass, and such a radical difference in tuning. It was a shocker. It was a real difference. Vocals take on a completely different tonality, thicker, definitely more recessed. Kind of funny that I typically prefer a kind of warmer tuning. I have to admit that the reference tuning works for me. I love the added emphasis on the bass, but what especially surprised me was the extra sparkle and air in the treble with the pop tuning. I kind of flip-flopped, liking the pop tuning, but eventually I just put it back on reference, and as I listened to it more and more, I became more engrossed in what the technical capabilities of the Ne4 was, and really appreciated it for that as well. What I'm excited for from NF Audio is what's coming down in the pipe in the future, right? So as they expand into world market, some different tunings that they may have not explored previously. So you might not see such neutral bright, you might see more of balanced or bass boosted or some warmer stuff, and that's all very exciting. So I really am excited for NF Audio and for them to come into more of the world market, be competitive in this stage, and bring us some unique stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with competition and variance as well, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Now, a couple things I'm going to mention as well. So, stock cable is an SPC cable, single-ended only. One of my feedbacks to NF Audio would be, at this point, in order to be competitive, throw us in a modular cable. Anything over kind of $80 now these days is kind of going that direction, and I'd love to see that as well. And in that case, you might, and I love these little NF Audio cases, but make this version of this little case maybe just a little bit wider. Keep it the same kind of profile and this magnetic top and stuff, but just make it a little bit wider so when we're using a fat cable, which still goes in there, by the way, that you can, but it just give it a little bit more room, right? Right. That's all I ask. That would be cool. That's on my wish list. Now, also with the ear tips that's provided, high quality, nice ear tips, but it's not going to work for everybody. I'd love to see you throw in some foamies in there, like a small, medium, and large as well. And maybe another wide bore as well, just to give a little bit more, because as you're changing the tuning of this IM, you're also going to need either wide bore tips or narrow bore tips to make it work. Not a big deal, because ear tips are something you should have in your arsenal, but at this price point, it'd be nice to see a bigger selection of ear tips included in the box. Would I love to see a future version of this with a dynamic driver for the bottom end? That would be cool. I'd love to see that. What about another design where you get not only the swappable faceplates, but you can also have now the swappable nozzles? So, wow, what a tunable IM that would be. So that would be on a wish list for me for future models as well. Your mood, your music, your taste can all change with one little screw and a top plate. I think that's very cool, and something that the market has tinkered with, but not done correctly until NF Audio did it with this kind of ability to do the tuning. And I applaud them hugely for this effort and bringing this to us to experience. I think the Ne4, in a nutshell, can change with you, for you, and for your preferences. I gotta say, so far the experience has been wonderful. The dealing with NF Audio, you can tell they are a professional company, and I wish them all the success in the future, and excited to bring you more of their stuff in the future. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching.